I'm so tired of this all day. Smoke cigarettes, drink coffee. I sit around hoping that I can just get the perfect fart for my girlfriend. But it's just too hard. Stop it. Stop your complaining. Yes? Do you really think that a woman doesn't want to talk about your fart after you do it? I make my woman comment on all my farts. All of them? Yes, of course. Fine. I'll just do it then. Every time I fart, I want to think of the perfect one.
Okay, sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That was a lot of that. If you want to check out the whole video, and check out Farts of Justice on the channel. Today, a bit of activity ahead of us, which mainly involves our notes from last time. Let's see, we need all this. Let's just play the first video, then we'll come to this. Hello, amigos. Welcome back to the program. I am so pleased to be amongst the few who's allowed into your headspace as you and I explore the depths of absolute craziness together. Beginning with spindle cells, aka von Economo neuron, present in such animals as people, whales, cetaceans, and primates to some degree. The von Economo neurons. The more you have of those, the more the two hemispheres of your brain are communicating with each other. And these are the qualities that they are linked to. Okay, so today we're going to be we're wrapping up this topic, and we're kind of like talking about these cells and the distribution in certain animals and which behaviors are going to go at which tiers of this having these cells. So far and away, the numbers pretty much look like you have humans are around 83,000, and the primates are separated. You've got bonobos. I think it's these three numbers. 2,000 for bonobos and chimpanzees. And when you ask me like what this number is measuring, I'm not sure, but it's the one they used to measure. And 16,000 for gorillas. So then you have elephants, and they have 10,000. Okay, and then cetaceans, I am going to leave a mystery for now. Try to guess. How many do you think whales have? Whales, dolphins, porpoises, I think. I haven't double checked if porpoises are considered cetaceans. They gotta be, right? So anyway, once again, to make this distinction between the primates, the gorillas are at 16,000. And then let's just say the others are at, it's like bonobos have a little bit more than chimps, but they're both around 2,000. Okay, let's continue the video and see what else gets said, and then we'll go from there. How do I continue the video? What am I doing? Sorry, guys. Oh, I found it. All right. Oh, yeah. And then dogs and cats have 0. Actually, a lot of animals have 0. Okay, that's the thing. You've got humans, great apes, elephants, and cetaceans, and that's all the ones that are listed as having these. I would probe to see if crows have any, because crows are mad smart too. But the rest, we're going to talk about that. Okay, so the so-called complex consciousness. Imagine that the amount of von Economo neurons you have is directly related to your experience in this way. Okay, the amount of von Economo neurons you have is directly linked to your experience in this way. And we're going to talk about what way that is just after these messages from our sponsor. These guys.
C'est un saucisson de cheval, un saucisson de cheval que je viens de faire. À cheval, c'est une chanson égay. De quoi? Esthète de cheval.
Okay, we are back, and what we are looking at is a way to discuss which behaviors. Okay, first things first. Let's start with this. All right, this is the 0 von Economos. Okay. Dogs and cats. 0 von Economos. And many other things. Okay. And then we'll say that by various degrees, it changes eventually to, because it would have to be gradients. I would have to make this more. All right, we got to take a break real quick. Let's put on just the music and the pause screen. I'm going to make some graphics, and I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
You cost me hours of work last night.
Then I'll get right to it. You have to go back into retirement. You're upsetting too many people.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you always have to be like this? You played right into their hands last time. When the parents' groups and the subcommittees came after us, you're the one they pointed to. You act like a criminal.
We are criminals, Clark. We always have been. You're still one, too. Only difference is you have a boss.
And you answer to no one. You know, we almost had this talk 10 years ago, when you wouldn't go along with the deal we made. Everyone else agreed. Diana went back to her people, Hal left the planet.
And Oliver, did he agree?
That's not how I wanted that to go.
He was all torn up about it, too.
He made it necessary. Like
I'm about to.
Do you even remember why you retired?
I remember.
Look, either shut it down or one of these days someone with authority is going to tell me to come stop you. And when that happens...
When that happens, may the best man win.
I have to go. We'll finish this later.
No hurry.
All right, so what are we really doing here? What's the point of all this? Well, it is to have entertaining programming. We're at the river, we are floating around, and we're having a good time. But you can't always stay on the river. It just doesn't work like that. Life is not like that yet.
This is Benicio del Toro in
Snatch. Listen, just listen to this very short
Heard
line.
of it.
Where is the stone?
Okay, you heard that?
What did he say?
Where is the stone? Where is the stone?
Okay,
Where is the stuff?
he's looking for a diamond. So he's saying, where's the stone? Okay, let's 2 more times.
Where's the stone?
Okay.
Where is the stone? Where is the stone?
Okay. You got that?
Okay, got that.
Now, listen to this.
Where's the stone? Where's the stone?
It's him.
Last chance, charlatan. Where's the stone?
Okay.
Where's the stone?
And he's stepping on Benicio del Toro, who said the line in Snatch.
Where is the stone?
Where's the stone?
Dude, totally just like off of the hat. It was just like little nod right there.
After Mr. Bishop was fired, what did you overhear him say?
He said, I'm gonna kill you. He said, your days are numbered, matey.
He said, your ass is to bully.
I saw him stab a Winnie and say, I wish it were you.
Hello, amigos. Welcome back to the program. I am so pleased to be amongst... Got that. Okay, we got it sorted. All right, so let's say that based on the theory that von Economo neurons promote complex... When it says they promote complex consciousness, it also means that they make the 2 hemispheres of the brain talk. Okay? And so, when they're not talking, let's say the top 3... Hold on, let me pull out a... Let's say the top 3 are... like in this instance, we'll say the right hemisphere or left hemisphere. The parts of your mind. Okay. So in dogs and cats, it's absent. No von Economo neurons means no talking between the 2. So they... Hold on, I got this. They have obviously a full life. We're not going to get up here and say dogs and cats are not conscious. That's foolishness. But we are going to say that there's something going on where we're a little bit different than dogs and cats. Okay? And one of those things, and we're going to get into a lot of these things, but here, let's just drop them all on here and then I'll group them up. Guess it would start here. Okay. If you're wondering, I will bust out some of these. Let's see, what do we get? So the behaviors we're going to be talking about as we go on include the following. All right, chipmunks, save that one. Save that one. Put that one up here. Okay, clothes. This is a good one just to illustrate. Hey, man. I don't want clothes on top of my... Okay, we got clothes. So this is one that dogs and cats do not have. They don't wear clothes unless you're in a place where they dress their dogs in clothes, which I want to say, after living in Taiwan, a healthy percentage of dogs in Taiwan are clothed, especially compared to the States. So we're going to put an asterisk next to that one and say that, like, dogs and cats, hold on, let me just... I'm sorry, this is taking too long. Here we go. All right, absence, dogs, cats, and many others. Clothes, no, we do not do clothes, unless dressed is the asterisk by others. Okie dokie. Now, here's the theory, is that once you get some talking going on, you get a little morphage. I think first I really do need to go through the signal receiver thing. All right, so forget about this. Let's get another interesting background up here. I think we can do Johnny Baseballs. No. Oh, this is actually helpful.
Receiver signals.
Because this is about the signal receiver. Let me just hammer that home one more time.
Receiver signals. Receiver signals. Receiver signals. Receiver signal.
Okay, just kidding. But for real, this background is terrible to work on. So we actually have to find another one. I will select portal stop A. Okay. This is from Reddit. Someone got a train. I should have a credit on there. All right, I normally put my credits on there, but whoever's Reddit post this was, I'm really sorry. I forgot to do it on this one. But it's a train in Northern Europe or something. But if we're going to pretend that this is a great background to do stuff on, we're at least going to have to make it a little bit darker. All right, so let's talk about... this is our signal. Let's do... Check it out. You're at a place, and there's tons of people there. That is the environment. Okay? And let's pretend you're a dog. You're a dog at this place. And so you have your little singular mind here because there's no communication between hemispheres. You are basically just like I said, a singular mind, okay? So once you get with the environment, if you have a dog like mine, they'd be very overwhelmed at this huge party. But all right, so you got the environment and bummer. You got the environment and you have the environment is called as the signal. And the mind is called as the receiver. I'm just going to put all this vocabulary into the same folder because I have it separated and that was a big mistake. So if I lose any, it's fine. Okay. Signal. That's the environment. Okay. Oopsies. Should have been this. Okie doke. And then you have your receiver, which would be the dog or the cat. And it's not really just their brain, it's their whole nervous system. You know, it's the organism in totality. But they are a receiver. And of course, after they receive, they will, you're simultaneously acting and receiving now that you're in the game. And so you're also going to be part of the signal for others now because you're in the environment, you're part of it. And that creates, my friends, a lovely little red circle, which is essentially the harmonization of, not the harmonization, it's the interaction. It's the classic, like, it represents the samsara world of duality thing. If a tree falls in a forest, it's something being observed and accepted by something else creates the actual thing. You know, if the world was around but no one was there to live in it, there's going to be no life. By the way, this red circle is basically a version of life. This is when you get the harmonious resonance of a signal in a receiver, and it happens quite often. You see it everywhere. So this is, as we call, this is called as a signal receiver. Okay? All right. Moving on to the last slide. Remember, this is absent. And all right, these were the graphics that I was building, okay? Okay, sorry about that, sound effects. All right, I'm not really sure how they would go, but the point is there needs to be a, nope, not that one. We already did that one. There needs to be a gradient, I think. Oh, geez. It's got to be, yes, nailed it. All right, so how does it go? Like, does it get brighter or darker? I don't think it really matters. Let's just keep in mind that these are different. In the world of analogy is never perfect. So it's hard for me to say if, you know, colors are the right way to represent this effect happening. But essentially, the more Von Economos you get, let's just say that, like, this is the elephants. And elephants are sitting at 10,000. Okay. And then, who else do we have? Let's just put our old boys, the chimps, and the bonobos at, here we go. And finally, people. And like I said, I'm leaving cetaceans out because I did my research and I know my numbers. And the cetaceans one is up for, after we do all this, then we can say, what's your guess as to where dolphins and whales and mental note, I do want to talk about, did you guys know that dolphins, whales, and basically cetaceans came out of the water once in evolutionary history and went back in? Dolphins and whales returned to the sea. They were once actually on land. That's why they're mammals, because they breathe air, because they came out of the water first, became fully land dwelling, and then went back in. There is a picture of that. Evolution of whales. I mean, if you knew this, it's no big deal, but this is something everyone needs to know so that they can, I don't know, have a broader picture on like how life works. I'm trying to find a good one, but in the meantime, I'm going to stay focused. This is up there. I'm not going to forget it now. All right. Dion, my man. Sorry, I didn't see the chat. How are you doing, bro? I was just thinking about freaking hanging out with you, because I got some time and I have a lot of free time right now. Okay, but anyway, let's stay focused on this. This reminds me of a time many, many years ago when a friend of mine went to the ATM.
Do your thing, do it. $50. Well, it didn't do my fast cash. All right.
What's the verdict?
Bills.
That last video.
Do your thing. Do it.
So, what you're witnessing here is one of the weirdest events that ever happened. But how often have you heard of get a close up on it?
What the?
Still waiting. Yeah, they're still there. Anyway, oh yeah, there was. Look at that. One more time. Weird stuff. Weird stuff. Back in those days, we were also easily entertained, so this seemed like a way bigger deal to me back in the day. But it was the beginning of this lifelong obsession with documenting stuff and making videos. So those were the early years, good times. All right, we're back to this now. And we are gonna freaking... Is there a way I can just, like, you know, can't believe my... All right, forget about that. Need to stay focused. It's really important we finish this today. I've been putting this off forever. So we're gonna talk about which behaviors go in which category. And for fun, just kind of like sort that out. Hold on, I'm trying to find my... I am dying here. Okay, I gotta take another break while I figure out how to put the chat up. It's worth it. I'm gonna take my time. Hey, do you guys like to dance? I really like to dance. In fact... Alors on danse. Alors on danse. I mean, I don't just like to dance. Alors on danse. Is that a good finale, or is that... What kind of finale? So, theoretically, I got infinite material. Oh, do I want a finale? A Doku finale? Yeah, for sure. It just keeps going, but okay. I'm gonna end the stream after I do the... Okay, first I'll show you the intro, and then...
Welcome to May Bonfire Chronicles.
Is that one too weird?
Welcome to May Bonfire Chronicles.
I've taken time to do a little research.
This disagrees.
What's going on?
I don't like this guy.
Yes, put your gun down.
Put it down, bastard.
Maybe. Come here.
Okay, I've sort of lost my way here. Oh, we're back to this. Okay, why were we talking about this? Oh, yeah. It's a side topic. It's a side topic. Let's go back to the rankings, actually. This is perfect. All right, now we're going to do all the behaviors. So, we have... art, Keep that one off to the side. Okay, this is an easy one to place. So far, we know that only, you know, out of all these things, only people wear clothes. So the cutoff is like, how do I get this to go straight? Okay, boom. Whew, this is hard work, guys. Okay. You know what? We don't need bars. That's going to take too long, and I think we can be able to see. There's probably going to be some bleed over anyway. All right, culture. I almost want to delete this one immediately because it's such a vague term that, like, I'm going to put it down here with chipmunks for now. Drugs, recreational drugs, medicine. Could also be called medicine. All right, do chimps and bonobos do drugs? Here's the thing. Jaguars, which we're going to go ahead and say cats, are known to do ayahuasca. So let's just go ahead and say that you don't need any Von Economos to do drugs or medicine. Crazy thought. Crazy thought. All right, emotional. I put this one here because I want to emphasize that in our theory, we're going to say that, you know, everything is emotional. If it's got the hormones and stuff. Dogs, cats, you tell me they don't have emotions, you're a psycho. You don't have emotions if you think that. Okay, language. This one has an asterisk because I think we could all agree it's at least somewhere in here, right? Like, don't chimps pretty much... I don't know, that's up for whatever. If oh, I've got this, like, my bar is not... Let's do that. Please let this be the correct one. Yes. I guess we should... All right, let me come back to this. But for now, let's seriously work through this real quick. I just want to explain the end of this. All right, so the environment is the signal. The brain is the receiver. And then, oh yeah, this shows what happens. As you go... It's like, here's where the Von Economos start to come in. So now there's some, by the fact of there being talking between the two, is actually kind of like a severing. It's weird. It's like it represents this whole paradigm as well. You know, once you have a signal, once you have a receiver, then any signal receiver is going to create this phenomena, the red circle. So essentially what you get starting to happen here is the beginnings of a red circle, right? Within it's self-harmonizing. And so this circle, you know, if I was going to go back and redo the graphics again, this red circle might even be a little bit more transparent. I don't know. You want to think at some point, I don't know. I have no idea how many it takes to be a full red circle. At any rate, you can see that, oh, you know what? I'll just do size maybe. At 10,000, if you're an elephant, it's like, ooh. And then People, 83,000. You're looking at significant. I guess the circle could be the same, and you see the colors change. I don't know if they would change in that way, like I mentioned, but you know, it's super solidified. Somewhere in here between this color and this amount. Hold on, let me get the amounts up. We don't want the circles to be too, you know, intrusive. How do I get below that number? All right, that works. And I think that worked. Great. Okay. So that's what starts to happen, is you get suddenly a new signal receiver situationship happening. I don't think I have to put it out for every single one, but now happening inside of itself. Okay. So let's consider that now being paired on top of okay, we're gonna do this. Okay. However, in this case, let's say it's people, 83,000. I think this was the right one. By the way, these are kind of like two different. This is a side topic to the main topic of just how many Vens does it take to make someone wear clothes, is basically the main topic. The side topic is this interpretation of consciousness, where you have, because you've got communication between the two halves, now you've got like a resonance. Okay. This was what makes this one different, because you have the resonance between the two, then you have the resonance with the environment. And that is what is called as like this. This is a signal receiver, which is not actually the correct terminology. Like, I guess there should be a red circle in those brackets. I think it's fine. I really do. I think the point is coming across just fine. Okay. Make a few of those arrows. And then that actually kind of like, you know, this all becomes part of the signal too. Goes into the environment. Anyway, there you have it. What I'm trying to illustrate here is that because we have some kind of communication automatically happening inside of our brains thanks to the von Economo neurons, we already have like a dialogue happening. And then when you pair that with the dialogue of this background stuff, you get like the 3 dimensions. This is for better, you know, when you say 2-dimensional, it sounds like they're flat. It's not really 2-dimensional, but it's direct involvement with the environment. You don't have time to reflect on your like connection to the environment because you're just constantly in the environment. You're part of that connection. And then here we have like a fragmenting where it becomes, you know, that holographic fractal thing where the two circles kind of start to resonate with each other. And then you can see that like, oh, we're in the 3D time and space. And like if I do this today, then tomorrow this other shit will happen, which is true, but it's also kind of an illusion that's based on just consistency and the fact that tomorrow keeps happening to come, and the sun is like as slow as it is that we can measure stuff with it. That is also another side topic, but let's just get back to the main one while we just finish this off. Because we are looking at... All right, how about laughing? This is a hard one, laughing and crying. If you have any problem with this, please let me know if you would place any of these somewhere else. But it's in here, right? If dogs and cats can't laugh because we're not really sure, bonobos and chimps definitely laugh, right? Okay, learning. Everything learns. This is even like way over here. Earning. Oof. Dang, man, that's an unfortunate discovery. I guess we have to include it though. Earning. Distinctly people. Let's just put it right here in the zone where shit starts to get stupid. And we have to start like making money and everything and wearing clothes. Okay. We don't know if it is exactly at 83,000, but it's basically over there. And just to clear up any confusion, let's make sure that this is fully viewed as learning. Not earning clothes. That's a mistake. Let's make, they're separate. Earning meaning like making money, having to do a living. Thanks a lot, Von Economo Neurons. All right, how about mirror recognition? Knowing yourself in the mirror. Is that somewhere over here? I think there's a lot more zooming in on this region that we could do, but what? Oh, here's a good one. Never forgetting. This is an asterisk because it's distinctly elephant. Painting. That's another elephant one. Have we seen bonobos and chips paint? Can gorillas paint? Did Coco paint anything? I think we can put that over here, which is kind of like art. Art, you know. Art and painting. I guess that's a whole discussion. That one should really kind of go down here. You know, what is art? All right. What other ones do we have? Thinking about the past and future. Keep in mind that this is a theory. I'm going to put it in here. What do you think? This is a really, really hard one. The only one we really for sure have proof of is here, but this one it could be... It's sliding. It has to have a... Okay, got an asterisk. Because we don't know. So we're going to say that... Do you think elephants do past and future? I don't know. Put it here. Well, we know for sure that bonobos do sex for fun. Maybe that one's further out. Maybe this one's in here. I'm tempted to say that, like, there's a hard line. If we have to draw them into categories, laughing and crying is, I don't know. Dogs have you ever seen a dog cry? Dogs cry, right? I don't know. Hard to say. When dogs cry. Alright, let's get rid of this. This is more than just a theory now. This is cemented into absolute legitimacy and fact. So we're going to get rid of this just a theory tag because I'm pretty sure that this is true science and we have revealed an unshakable truth here. Singing. This also kind of deserves an asterisk because it's like, it's tied to language and stuff, but birds can sing. So singing goes pretty base. Or are we just sometimes forgetting. Hard to say. But I think that's also like, maybe we'll put that over here. Tools. Okay, back to the whale thing. Alright, never mind. Let's finish this first. Then we'll talk about cetaceans in the end. Alright, that's all the behaviors that we lined up. I guess we are at the end. So that's what we got, guys. This one is undetermined, so we don't know. We don't know who thinks of past and future, but based on the theory... Oh, I understand now. This was supposed to be attached to this. Oh, let's talk about this, the specific ones here. There is kind of like a difference between the language. Okay, language is in question. This is getting messy. I got an idea. Okay. For language, we've got oof, that was rough. Okay. This is gonna work. Oh. Okay. Language. I shouldn't have moved that. It's going to be off now when we go back. But this one, we wanted to break this one down a little bit because, like, even chipmunks might have language. You know, it's hard for us to say, does the, you know, the sounds chipmunks make, is that language? Probably. On some level they understand it, for sure. But we also have people language, which is, you know, a different thing. So when we put, oh yeah, that means we're going to remove language. And when I say remove it, I don't mean take it away. I mean actually remove it again. So we're going to put language up here, and that's with the asterisk that, like, we're not putting it past chipmunks. Oh, wait. Maybe here? No, it has to be here, because elephants don't talk like we talk either. Although, dude, it's hard to say. Body language is the big thing. Did you know that elephants will flap their ears? Okay, here's something that elephants do that's really badass. Sometimes they'll say hi with a trumpet sound from their trunks if the elephant is not looking at them. And if the elephant is looking, they'll flap their ears. That's freaking crazy. So they use contextual language. Humpback whales use like grammar and, you know, words. Oh, okay, so that brings us to the final thing. We really should talk about the cetaceans now. Hold on one sec.
Hello, amigos. Welcome back to the program.
Okay, here we go. Pause. Jeez Louise. Pause. Okay, good. Cetaceans are whales, dolphins, and whatever. So, when you ask how many, before we asked the question, how many von Economo neurons do you think that dolphins and whales have? Given this
Some
chart
things that we all
correct.
have in common in
Okay.
these groups include...
This chart's not right. This one is wrong. Cetaceans. So, pretend that it doesn't exist, in fact. Ah, son of a gun. Okay. Oh, that's people. All right, so we're going to say, what is your guess for how much humans or cetaceans have? And I will prepare a graphic and leave you with this to look at. That thing I mentioned before about whales having come out of the sea and gone back to the sea is true. This is what the ground dwellers looked like before. See, they became like these crazy lizard guys, and then they went back. So actually this goes in a clockwise motion with this huge whale at the bottom left being the final. And this also brings me to another one that I wanted to show you. I don't think that's going to happen. I have the wrong... Oh. Perfect. Here. See? All right. For our final thing, I need to prepare one tiny graphic by doing a math problem, actually. Whew, okay. Okay. For the final drum roll, please. How many cetaceans, how many vens do they have? The answer is 3 times more than people. This is mind-blowing. If our theory holds true, that means that dolphins and whales are all walking around in a horror of not being able to put on clothes, basically. But they might be way more conscious than us if we're going by this metric, which I'm going by this metric today. Insane. 3 times more. That's what no one said 249,000 directly, but I did a little math where I did 83 times 3, and then you get 249. So this one actually says people have 86,000. On the... Oh yeah, how about octopus? What do you guys think octopus have? Octopus are hovering right in the 0 range. So that's something else entirely, man. They don't have any, but they're hella freaking smart. So what the hell is that? It throws a little wrench into our theory that I don't know, our theory. I think we got everything. Oh yeah, culture. We don't want to talk about that because culture is like so ambiguous. But as far as building buildings and stuff, building buildings probably could have been included on the list of things do. Because like even a what's it called? Even a insect with 0 von economos will build a shelter. So that is on the 0 list. I'm just going through and making sure we don't have anything else that we need to check. And we don't, but I wanted to... I guess I just wanted to show the thing where it said that cetaceans have 3 times... Here it is. A specific number isn't readily available. That's because they didn't just multiply 83 times 3 like I did. It's like, I'm such a genius. Alright. Undergirding. I think I'm about done. I got what I came for, which is some shots. Oh, actually I did not. I have one more thing to do. Alright, let me just go to a break. I'll be back to do the Big Bang. We will finish our discussion as we talk about the Big Bang. Suddenly, the James Webb Telescope is catching sight after all this time of an object once thought a complete mystery, your mom's. 14. They can't understand how galaxies there wouldn't have been time for them to form.
New research finds the universe is twice as old as we previously thought. Okay, one thing about this title is it tells me if it's twice as old as we thought it was now, what's to say that's not going to happen again later? New observations from the James Webb Telescope suggest the cosmos may be much older than we once believed. For decades, scientists held the universe was about 13.8 billion years old, but that number now faces serious doubt thanks to the James Webb's groundbreaking data. So, the James Webb was built to peer deep into time. Its precision and range allow it to detect light from the earliest galaxies, opening a window into the universe's youth. And what it's seeing does not match the script cosmologists have written for years. Some of the most puzzling finds have been dubbed impossible early galaxies. These ancient structures appear to have formed just 500 to 800 million years after the Big Bang, but that's where the problem lies. They look far too developed for their supposed age. These galaxies have features that shouldn't appear for billions of years. That's like given their distance from the Big Bang. It's akin to seeing a toddler with the wisdom of an octogenarian. These galaxies possess the complexity of much older systems, shaking the foundation of what we thought we knew. So what if is actually because we're not seeing super old galaxies that just happen to be extra evolved? What if they're old galaxies from another Big Bang and that's just bleed over? What if this is the bleed over from another Big Bang that happened before?
There was plenty of time if they formed in another Big Bang, and now we're just catching sight of them because, like, two potted plants thrown off the back of a truck, the debris is mixing together. What we're seeing in this picture is not, in fact, a galaxy from our Big Bang. It's something else coming in from a different Big Bang. Why is that important? If you imagine that one Big Bang goes off over here, and then millions of years before that, another Big Bang already went off over there. And guess what? Another one went off way before that. And millions and infinite Big Bangs have been going off in this other space for millions of times. Then what you kind of have is the multiverse being redefined again as a universe. And we can see that in this new perspective, we're actually in an infinite void, and time is starting and stopping in these bubbles of matter that starts moving. All right. Let's take a minute to get back to that. Okay, the most important thing to imagine is perhaps this, which is supposed to come later. So let's start with what we were going with, which was an infinite void which could best be represented by, hold on. Oh, no, that's not a void. That works. All right, let's do this one. So imagine this is an infinite void. Okay? And then you have the Big Bang spontaneously happening. Boop. Bam. And it's getting bigger and bigger. Okay. And everyone's thinking, this is all there is. The Big Bang was the beginning of everything. oh my gosh, the Big Bang is the beginning of everything. But really, there's just something on the outside of our known universe. This is just our bubble. And then over here, there was like another Big Bang that happened way earlier or way, you know, it's hard to say earlier or later if it's a timeless void, but it happened before our Big Bang. But it was just so far away. And so when we see the images of the galaxies that are too old, what if it's just like this? You know, it's just barely touching another bubble. And that's why it's similar to the Marvel incursions, because you have like universes colliding. And then before that, there was like, maybe there was another Big Bang that happened over here. So our Big Bang, you know, might have just been the start of our universe and this particular locality of time. Because once matter starts moving, then you can measure, okay, that matter used to be over there, now it's over here, so this amount of time happened based on its velocity, blah, blah, blah. You can't really like physically measure time if there's no matter. So every time a Big Bang starts, there's like a whole pop of time happening in this like new thing that you can look at. But that brings me to this part, which will help visualize that better. So here's all the calendar, the years, and I need to double check and correct these because I did this last year, so it might be that these are a year off, but at least the Gregorian, which is where we are, we're in 2025, and then the Jewish calendar says it's this 5,785 or 6, based on, I haven't updated this since last year, like I said. Chinese, Buddhist, Hindu, Islamic. If this is true, that's pretty badass. That means we're like in 2080. That's like around the time of Alien, I think. Alien might be 21 something, actually. But anyway, my point is that when you look at all of these together, then you realize that, and then you ask yourself, well, which one's the real time? What year is it really? And then the answer pops out, which is there is no real year. There is no real, you know, unified thing to measure anything from. So that's how you end up in this scenario. It's like the same kind of vibe where it's a timeless void and Big Bangs are going off. And they might be incursioning on each other at a point like this. And so maybe the James Webb saw like a little, because the universe, think about a galaxy that was in this universe or Big Bang that, you know, was out on the edge would be hella old. So then we would see it and we would say, wow, that looks super old, because it is. But it actually wouldn't look like this exactly, because the galaxy that they saw is red-shifted, so it's going away from us. But that's why I said the thing about the two potted plants. If you're on a car and you throw two potted plants off, or they fall off, and they're going generally the same direction, but the dirt is coming from different places, so it hits the ground and it scatters together. So, you know, it might actually be going this way. The incursion might, your mom's mom Z14 might be here, and then it's red shifted because it's actually still shooting away from us where we're observing from, which And this example would probably be like here. That's basically it, I suppose, is that it's easy to see, oh, that's what it means by redefining the multiverse as a universe. It's like, okay, there's a Big Bang, that's our universe. But, oh, actually, there's a shitload of Big Bangs, and they're infinite. That puts you into the headspace where all of those things happening together, the outside, this beach, which is Cimaja, Indonesia, this is the actual true nature of the void and the universe, where like Big Bangs are happening all the time. And that's the timeless present that we all live there in, and you know, that's what it means when people say about like the present. It's like if you took away all things, all matter spinning and relativity and everything, we're actually always in this like weird zone of possibility where whatever. I'm going to say that I definitely got all the material I needed. And it's possible that we have an advertisement for what's coming next time. Or it's possible that we could just, you know what, we're just going to talk about it now. Because I don't feel like waiting for next time. Final notes of the day. It's like, is there a better way than constantly putting our pet's dookie in a garbage bag? That is so dumb. We are literally just bagging up. I can't believe how many like little dookies are bagged up every day. Or is it that the natural form of dookie is actually to be in a plastic sheath and we are just this kind of organism that does the one part of it? I don't know, but it sounds to me like we're really messing up. We need to figure out a better way to let dogs go to the bathroom without, you know what I'm trying to say. All right, next one. Scooter. Boop, boop. You know what that word is. I have some complaints to give about people who ride the electric scooters on pedestrian walkways. I don't think I'm the only one. But before they came along, we were walking, and yes, bikes going very fast are dangerous. But there's some level of control that is taken away. It's just like scooters exist, electric scooters exist in the danger zone of not amount of control and speed and pedestrians being around. Like imagine, it hasn't happened yet or it hasn't been televised yet, but there is going to be a scooter riding person who collides with a baby carriage. Trust me. And that is going to be very, very bad. So scooter bitches, please get off the pedestrian paths. Ride on the road and take your chances with the cars. Sorry, got angry about that one. I guess this is what we can do next time. Twitter down, economics, and silicon-based life. I should make a note of that so I don't forget. Anyway, it has been an absolute pleasure. I'm sorry that I missed the chat. I got to figure out a way to get like the chat on the screen, because that was a missed opportunity. Hold on, I have all these endings prepared. I don't want to go away without using one. I'm dying here. Where do I put my endings? It's crazy, you know? Spend all this time preparing. You think you know where your stuff is? We've done that one. Oh. Okay. I don't know if that one feels good. We did that one. We did that one. Okay, let's just do this one.
Bye.